हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय हो राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे जय हो राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे जय हो राधा गोपी वल्लभ राधा गोपी वल्लभ राधे जय हो राधा गोवर्धन धारी राधा गोवर्धन धारी राधे जय हो राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी नयन पथगामी भाव तुम्हें जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी नयन पथगामी भाव तुम्हें निताई गौरांगो निताई गौरांगो गौर हरि जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन जय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि पतित पावाना पतित पावाना पतित पावाना गौर हरि जय शालिग्राम जय शालिग्राम जय शालिग्राम जय जय शालिग्राम जय लड्डू गोपाल जय लड्डू गोपाल जय लड्डू गोपाल जय जय लड्डू गोपाल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल श्रील गुरुदेव की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय we'll do the prayers and then we'll get started ॐ अज्ञान विरान्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्रिषे नमः नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गौ ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji, my Dandavat Pranam to each one of you. Thank you for joining the class. Uh, so, before we get started, just okay, so today we will discuss from Canto 7. The name of the canto is The Science of God, and we have finished chapter 10, which is about discusses about Prahlad Maharaj and how he is the best among the exalted devotees. So we have been discussing Prahlad Maharaj pastime for several months now, and it's a very it's a very exalted and a very satisfying pastime. I mean, no matter how many times you read it, hear it, it always feels fresh. You always enjoy it. The devotees definitely enjoy uh, hearing about this pastime of Prahlad Maharaj, how Narsimhadev appears very specifically for Prahlad Maharaj to protect him. And the devotees take great pleasure and feel very satisfied and protected that the Lord appears for his devotee, personally appears, comes down from Vaikuntha planet to protect his devotee, just protect his one devotee, right? Not many devotees here. He has come exclusively for Prahlad Maharaj. And so we discussed that pastime over many months, and it is a very pleasing and satisfying. read. So today we will start with chapter 11. So the discussion is happening between Yudhishthir Maharaj and Narad Muni. And Narad Muni actually describes this pastime of Prahlad Maharaj to Yudhishthir Maharaj, because Yudhishthir Maharaj had raised a question that he had got a doubt that whether the Supreme Lord is partial to anybody. Is he partial to the demigods, or is he impartial to the to the demons? And Narad Muni then describes this pastime to explain how the Lord Supreme Lord even appears for a demon, right? So because Prahlad Maharaj was born in a demonic family. So 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 that discussion is continuing. And in this chapter, Yudhishthir Maharaj asks further questions to Narad Muni, and he asks. So let's look at this chapter. So just to give a brief overview, this chapter, like the first line says, this chapter describes the general principles by following which a human being, and specifically one who is interested in advancing in spiritual life, can become perfect. So now this chapter basically describes about the Varnashrama Dharma. So by following the Varnashrama Dharma, there will be peace and prosperity in the society. And because there will be peace and prosperity in the society, it is possible to advance in spiritual life. Unless there is peace and prosperity, we cannot make advancement. I mean, especially peace. Forget about prosperity. Prosperity is also important, but peace definitely is important. And when you have peace, prosperity automatically comes, right? We have seen that, right? Whenever there is peace and in the society, there is prosperity automatically comes. And so the Varnashrama Dharma system, which is described uh, by by Narad Muni here, actually talks how this system can bring about peace and prosperity in the society. And by following the Varnashrama this Dharma, everybody can become happy. And this is also known as this religious principle is also known as Sanatana Dharma. And what is Sanatana Dharma? We will take a look at it. So this chapter describes uh, the the Varnashrama system. Specifically, it talks about the Varnas, like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So how the Varnashrama system divides the society into these four categories of people, and how what are the duties of a Brahmana, what is the duty of a Kshatriya, what are the duties of a Vaishya, and what are the duties of a Shudra. And basically it also talks about how to identify a Brahmana, how to identify a Kshatriya, how to identify a Vaishya, and how to identify a Shudra. It is not based on a Janma, but it is based on the Varna. Varna means the qualities. So this system is based on the qualities of a person, and not on the on where he is born. See, in the olden days, it was like this, that uh, the son used to follow what the father used to do, and hence it was kind of like assumed, or like it was said that a Brahmana sons will become a Brahmana, a Kshatriya son will become a Kshatriya. But Varnashrama system as such does not say that somebody who is born of a Kshatriya will become a Kshatriya. So that is not the qualification to become something. It is based on the qualities. And that is one of the main misconceptions which people have, where they try to say that the system is not good. But this is the most perfect system, because it divides people based on their inherent nature. And once you know your inherent nature, or based on your qualities, you can also excel in that. So that's why this system is very much perfect. And India, or Bharat Varsha, used to follow the system for a very, very long time. And we can see how much peace and prosperity was there in Bharat Varsha. Because this Varnashrama system has been destroyed, we can see all kinds of problems now in the society. We'll talk about that later, but that's what the main discussion in this chapter is about: Varnashrama Dharma, and how what are the occupational duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. we'll talk about all of that in this chapter. So let's get started. So that, as I said, the discussion is between Narad Muni and Yudhishthir Maharaj. And mind you, Narad Muni just I will come to that, but Narad Muni describes this Varnashrama. He's not this Varnashrama system is not proposed or propagated by Narad Muni. It is a system which is coming from the Supreme Lord. It is defined by him because he is the owner of all the religious principles, and this religious principle of Varnashrama Dharma is defined by the Supreme Lord himself. And Narad Muni heard it from the Supreme Lord, and that is what he's describing to Yudhishthir Maharaj. And that is very much clearly stated here, and we'll see how it is how Yudhishthir Maharaj tries to gain the knowledge about this Varnashrama system. So let's get started. We'll read the translations and purport, and in some cases we will also look at these this uh, uh, this word to word meanings where it is important to understand. So I'll start with this 7.1.1. Okay, 7.11.1. Sorry. Translation. Sukadev Goswami continued. After hearing about the activities and character of Prahlad Maharaj, which are adored and discussed among great personalities like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, Yudhishthir Maharaj, the most respectful king among exalted personalities, again inquired from the great Saint Narad Muni in a mood of great pleasure. Okay, so Yudhishthir Maharaj makes further inquiries from Narad Muni. See, please understand, Yudhishthir Maharaj is Dharmaraj. He knows about this system, but it is for us he's asking this question. And that is what Narad Muni will further answer. So 7.11.2, Maharaj Yudhishthir said, "My dear Lord, I wish to hear from you about the principles of religion by which one can attain the ultimate goal of life, devotional service. I wish to hear about the general occupational duties of human society and the system of social and spiritual advancement known as Varnashrama Dharma." So, Yudhishthir Maharaj knows about the Varnashrama Dharma, that this is a system for social and spiritual advancement, but he wants to hear more details about it. He wants to understand it. So let's look at the purport. The purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sanatan Dharma means devotional service. The word Sanatana refers to that which is eternal, which does not change but continues in all circumstances. We have several times explained what the eternal occupational duty of the living being is. Indeed, it has been explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jivera Swarup Hoya Krishnera Nityadas. The real occupational duty of the living entity is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if one prefers to deviate from this principle, he remains a servant because that is his eternal position. But one serves Maya, the illusory material energy. The Krishna consciousness movement, therefore, is an attempt to guide the human society to serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, instead of serving the material world with no real profit. Our actual experience is that every man, animal, bird, and beast, indeed every living entity, is engaged in rendering service. Even though one's body or one's superficial religion may change, every entity is always engaged in the service of someone. Therefore, the mentality of service is called eternal occupational duty. This eternal occupational duty can be organized through the institution of Varnashrama, in which there are 4 Varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and 4 ashramas: Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. Thus, Yudhishthir Maharaj inquired from Narad Muni about the principles of Sanatana Dharma for the benefit of human society. Okay, so now this Sorry, Mataji, any problem?
No, Prabhuji, I'll read the next one.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So now, if you ask, like, we are very fortunate. Why we are fortunate? Because in ISKCON, we understand this word, the meaning of the word dharma, right? If you ask anybody outside, what is dharma, they become perplexed, right? They cannot understand what do you mean by dharma, right? It is, they don't know what is dharma. And if you look here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described the dharma so very well, so very clear, and in such a using only 6 words, right? These are only 6 words, and this clearly describes the dharma. It actually is the essence of all our Vedic scriptures. It clearly defines dharma. See, dharma are of 2 types, right? Bodily dharma and spiritual dharma, right? So this statement defines dharma very, very clearly. The spiritual dharma is very clear. What is the dharma of a soul? It is a servant of Krishna, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes that spiritual dharma in just 6 words, and that's all, right? Very, very clear, very, very succinct, right? I mean, you cannot get so precise, right? That it is described in just 6 words. Now, coming to the bodily dharma, right? The Varnashrama system, it's not just bodily dharma, but Varnashrama system actually tries to define that bodily dharma. That according to the Varna and Ashrama, I have some dharma, which is the dharma of my, because I'm entrapped in a body and I have to follow that. So Varnashrama system describes the bodily dharma, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes the dharma of the soul. And these are all in sync. It's not that it is different. By following the Varnashrama dharma, you can easily follow this uh, spiritual dharma. And if you are following the spiritual dharma, you are automatically following the Varnashrama. But other way around may not be true, right? You might be following the Varnashrama dharma, but you may not be following the spiritual dharma, right? We can see there are people who might be following the Varnashrama dharma, but they don't know about the spiritual dharma. But we are very fortunate that we know both of these. And it is not that Varnashrama system is not important. See, it is mentioned as a Sanatana dharma, eternal duty. And that eternal duty is to serve. Everybody is serving, and Varnashrama dharma actually helps us to serve, right? And as I said, as I mentioned earlier, right, that this system of division brings peace and prosperity, which is an essential criteria to also perform your spiritual dharma, right? If there is no peace and prosperity, that you cannot, it is not easy to perform your spiritual dharma also, right? Correct. So let's go ahead and we'll then discuss about further details of this Sanatan Dharma. Okay. Text 3. Mataji, you can go and read. Go ahead and read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Translations. Translation. O best of the Brahmanas, you are directly the son of Prajapati, Lord Brahma. Because of your austerities, mystic yoga and trance, you are considered the best of all the Lord Brahma's sons.
Hare Krishna. So Yudhishthir Maharaj is praising Narad Muni. Please understand, he is not just praising Narad Muni. Narad Muni is a very special acharya, right? Now, if you look at anything great which has happened in the spiritual world, you'll find Narad Muni being present there. For example, Narad Muni is the one who gave guidance to Vyasdev to write Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Such transcendental literature is available to us because Narad Muni instructed Lord Vyasdev to write it, right? So you can see Narad Muni is so responsible. I mean, he's responsible for such transcendental literature. You look at Ramayana, right? Again, Narad Muni instructs Valmiki Muni to write Ramayana. So you can see these great literatures are available to us because of Narad Muni. You can see Narad Muni is also a very great preacher, right? He preached to Dhruv Maharaj. We just saw the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj, right? Again, Narad Muni preached to Prahlad Maharaj. Narad Muni preached to the sons of Daksha, right? You can see Narad Muni is one of the uh, transcendental acharyas. He's a great Vaishnava and he's a great preacher. And you can see all these pastimes, Narad Muni plays a very, very important role. Even in 10th canto, you can see Narad Muni going to Kamsa and telling him to kill all the sons. Why is he saying to kill all the sons? Because he wants Lord Krishna to appear. It is not good for Kamsa to become pious because it will delay the appearance of Lord Krishna. So Narad Muni tells Kamsa to kill the sons of of uh, uh, Vasudev, right? So you can see, and Devaki, you can see Narad Muni playing such an important role in all the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So that's why Yudhishthir Maharaj is praising Narad Muni, correct? And uh, you can see because of your austerities, mystic yoga, and trance, these are all there, but you can see the importance of Narad Muni. Lord, in every Lord's pastime, Narad Muni is present, correct? And because of him, we have so much transcendental literature and so great devotees because he preached them, right? So let's and and you and Narad Muni got a curse, right? Because he preached to the uh, sons of Daksha and made them brahmachari. And Daksha cursed Narad Muni that since you have made my sons brahmachari, you will not be able to stay at one place. And Narad Muni is very happy with it, right? Anyways, he doesn't want to stay at any one place. And Srila Prabhupada said that as Narad Muni is cursed, I am also cursed to travel. Srila Prabhupada said this, right? Because my devotees have built palatial temples and they are asking me to come and stay, but I cannot stay in one place. And what Srila Prabhupada wanted his disciples is to take that curse and keep traveling and preaching. So you can see how Narad Muni uh, inspires great acharyas further down the line also, right? So and it is mentioned here that Narad Muni is a son of Lord Brahma, right? Lord Brahma has other sons also, like Marichi Rishi, Agatsya Rishi, Pulasa Rishi, and so on and so forth. And Narad Muni was born out of thought of Lord Brahma, and hence he is one of the uh, very exalted sons also of Lord Brahma. You see, Brahma gave the uh, uh, Karma Kanda section to his son Daksha, right? Then he gave his Gyan Kanda kind of duties to the four Kumaras. But the bhakti related activities or all the bhakti related uh, bhakti propagation, he gave it to Narad Muni because Narad Muni is a very, very exalted son of Lord Brahma. And that's what is mentioned here. Okay? I mean, what I'm trying to say is while Yudhishthir Maharaj is saying all this, right? So let's move ahead. 7.11.4. Anybody would want to read? Hare Krishna. Please go ahead, Madhuri.
Translation. No one is superior to you in peaceful life and mercy, and no one knows better than you how to execute devotional service or how to become the best of the Brahmana. Therefore, you know all the principles of confidential religious life, and no one knows them better than you. Purpose. Yudhishthira Maharaja knew that Narada Muni is the supreme spiritual master of human society who can teach the path of spiritual liberation leading to the understanding of the supreme personality of Godhead. Actually, it is for this purpose that Narada Muni compiled his Bhakti Sutra and gave directions in the Narada Pancharatna. To learn about religious principles and the perfection of life, one must take instruction from the disciplic succession of Narada Muni. Our Krishna consciousness movement is directly in the line of the Brahmana Sampradaya. Narada Muni received instructions from Lord Brahma and in turn transmitted the instructions to Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva instructed his son Sukadeva Goswami, who spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. The Krishna consciousness movement is based on Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Because Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami and Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Krishna, there is no difference between them. If we strictly follow the principle of disciplic succession, we are certainly on the right path of spiritual liberation or eternal engagement in devotional service. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So we can see Narad Muni has compiled the Bhakti Sutra and gave directions in Narada Pancharatra. Now, we use this Narada Pancharatra vidhi to worship the deities, right? And this is also a Vaishnava literature, actually, Narada Pancharatra. And it talks about 6 things, actually. So it talks about just a moment. So it talks about there are 6 major sections actually in Narada Pancharatra. One is Nam Seva, the second is Tulsi Seva, then third is Shastra Seva, Vaishnav Seva, Atithi Seva, and then finally Dham Seva. So these instructions given by Narad Muni, right, in this Narada Pancharatra, it's a very important Vaishnava literature, and there are books available from where all these shlokas of Narada Pancharatra mentioned. So this is a very important literature for Vaishnavas, and as I said, it talks about these 6 things: Nam Seva, Tulsi Seva, Shastra Seva, Dham Seva, right? Atithi Seva. So Narad Muni has compiled even literatures himself and given instructions to others to compile literature, right? Narad Muni instructed Vyasadeva to write Srimad Bhagavatam, which we are reading. Okay, so Narad Muni is a very, very exalted devotee of the Lord and a very, very exalted acharya, and we should follow in the footsteps of Narad Muni. And as Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here, the ISKCON movement is a direct, it's coming in the disciplinic succession of Lord Brahma, where Narad Muni is one of the acharyas. So we are actually very, very fortunate, right? That Narad Muni is one of the acharyas in our disciplinic succession. Okay, let's move ahead. Now Narad Muni will speak and answer the questions which Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking. Okay, anybody wants to read?
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Translation. Sri Narada Muni said, after first offering my obeisances unto Lord Krishna, the protector of the religious principles of all living entities, let me explain the principles of the eternal religious system, of which I have heard from the mouth of Narayana. Purport. The word Aja refers to Krishna, who explains in Bhagavad Gita 4.6, Ajopi San Avyayatma. I am ever existing and thus I never take birth. There is no change in my existence.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here, the word, if you look at Ajaya, right? Ever existing, never born. This is what it's coming here in the shloka, right? Ajaya, Bhagavate Ajaya, Natva Bhagavate Ajaya. Ajaya is ever existing and it refers to Lord Krishna, right? He's ever existing and never born. And you can see, like, as I said, mentioned also earlier, that explain the principles of which I have heard from the mouth of Narayan. See, he's not making this up. It's not something which is defined by Narad Muni. He has heard from the mouth of Lord Narayan and he is explaining as it is to Yudhishthir Maharaj. So this Varnashrama system is coming from the Supreme Lord himself. Okay. Now the question might arise, why did the Supreme Lord define this Varnashrama system? Why do you think he will define this? Why do we need this kind of a division? One point we made is like, yeah, okay, we want peace and prosperity, and probably this brings peace and prosperity. but there could have been other systems also, and might be, right? See, the point is, I mean, it starts from that the jiva, when it wants to enjoy independently of the Lord, and when he becomes envious of the Lord, right? We were all in the spiritual world, right? Deepa Mataji also said yesterday. And we came to this material world because of these two reasons only, right? We had dvesha, and we wanted to enjoy independently of the Supreme Lord. And that's why we came to this material world, leaving the Supreme Lord, and we came to this material world. Now, the Lord, being a very merciful Father, he wants to reclaim these souls back to him, right? But he knows that we will not come back directly, right? We'll not just accept it and come back. So that's why he created this material world where a facility is provided to enjoy. And in order to start back the journey towards him, he has defined all these principles of Varnashrama Dharma, so that gradually we will again understand our eternal nature and try to start this journey back to him. So in order to reclaim these lost souls, and in order to because this is a very gradual process, right? We get conditioned by the material world. The process is very gradual. In order to assist us, because he's so merciful, he defines this Varnashrama system so that we can start our journey back towards him. Okay, so this Sanatan Dharma and Varnashrama system is very, very important in order to be able to start our journey towards Lord Krishna, right? And he wants to claim us back. And that's why he has given all these religious principles. Okay, right? So let's go to 7.11.6. I'll read the translation. Lord Narayana. Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Translation. Lord Narayana, along with the partial manifestation Nara, appeared in this world through the daughter of Daksha Maharaj, known as Murti. He was begotten by Dharma Maharaj for the benefit of all living entities. Even now, he is still engaged and executing great austerities near the place known as Badrikashram. Hare Krishna.
So Badrika Ashram is one of the places we visit when we go for Char Dham Yatra, right? This place is still there. We still visit this place, and Nar Narayan Rishi are always eternally doing tapasya there, right? And like it is said that Nara is Arjuna and Lord Narayana appeared as Krishna, right? But Krishna is the original, but and Nar Narayan Rishi come from him, but it is said that Nara is Arjuna. I mean, they are eternally together. So Krishna and Arjuna are together, right? So that's how it is. Text 7. Translation. Anybody want to read?
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Subhara Prabhuji.
The Supreme Being, the personality of God. Sorry, can you continue with the translation, right?
Yeah, translation Prabhuji.
The Supreme Being, the personality of Godhead, is the essence of all Vedic knowledge, the root of all religious principles, and the memory of great authorities. O King Yudhishthira, this principle of religion is to be understood as evidence. On the basis of this religious principle, everything is satisfied, including one's mind, soul, and even one's body. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, you'll read the purport also?
Purport's also reading Prabhu.
Yeah, read the purport.
As stated,
There are not many.
yes, Prabhu.
Sorry.
Somebody else.
There are not many.
No,
there are not many purports, so we have time.
As stated by Yamaraja, Dharmaitu Satsat Bhagavat Pranita. Yamaraja, the representative of Lord, who takes care of living beings after their death, gives his verdict as to how and when the living being will change his body. He is the authority, and he says that the religious principles consist of the codes and laws given by God. No one can manufacture religion, and therefore manufactured religious systems are rejected by the followers of Vedic principles. In Bhagavad Gita 15.15, it is said, Vedayas cha sarve aham yava vedya. Vedic knowledge means to understand Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Therefore, whenever one speaks of Vedas, scriptures, religion, or principles of everyone's occupational duty, all of them must aim at understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.6 therefore concludes, I'm skipping the sloka. In other words,
Okay.
religious principles aim at learning how to render transcendental loving service to the Lord. That service must be unmotivated and unchecked by material conditions. Then human society will be happy in all respects. The scriptures following the principles of Vedic knowledge are considered the evidence of Vedic principles. There are 20 different types of scriptures for the following religious principles, and among them the scriptures of Manu and Yajnavalkya.
Yajnavalkya.
Yajnavalkya are considered to be all-pervading authorities. In Yajnavalkya Smriti, it is said, okay, one should learn human behavior from Smriti, the Vedas, and from Smriti, the scriptures, following the Vedic principles. Srila Rupa Goswami, in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, says that the purpose.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Prabhu. No, I'm just skipping the script, Prabhu. The purpose is that to become a devotee, one must follow the principles laid down in Smriti and Smriti. One must follow the codes of Purana and Pancharakriti. One cannot be a pure devotee without following the Shruti and Smriti. And the Shruti and Smriti without devotional service cannot lead one to the perfection of life. Therefore, from all evidences, the conclusion is that without bhakti, devotional service, there is no question of religious principles. God is the central figure in the performance of religious principles. Almost everything going on in this world as religion is devoid of any idea of devotional service and is therefore condemned by the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam. Without devotional service, so-called religious principles are only cheating. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So let's come back to the shloka itself. Dharma moolam hi Bhagavan, right? Here it means the root of religious principle is the Supreme Personality of God, right? He is the one who is the central figure, and whatever he defines is the dharma, is what is religious principles, right? Now, see, there are two aspects, right? Dharma and karma, right? We say karma and dharma, right? Now, if you perform karma without dharma, then it leads to chaos. For example, let's take a very simple example. Let's say there is a new batsman, okay? And he goes to play in a cricket match. He goes and plays there, right? There is a stadium. He goes and plays, and he, let's say, hits a shot. So he has, what is his karma is, he's hitting a shot, and then he gets some runs and scores some runs. Everybody will be appreciative of it, right? Now, and now let's say the next day, the very next day, now he runs between the wickets, he does all that, he hits boundaries also. Everybody appreciates him. Now, the very next day, when there is no match, he goes to that same stadium and he hits shots and all that. So he will not get any appreciation the next day, right? Because there is no match going on. Similarly, like, I mean, if you take this, the match is the dharma, and the batsman hitting the ball and all, whatever he's doing is the karma. The karma is beneficial only when it is done according to the dharma. Otherwise, it is not beneficial. Another example is, let's say, a woman and a man, they have a child, right? Now, if they are married and they have a child, everybody will give them gifts, the society will appreciate and everything. But if the same process of begetting a child is done by an unmarried boy and a girl, then the girl would be treated as a prostitute, right? Again, you see the same karma, but when there is no dharma in it, or when you do not do it according to the dharma, is a problem, correct? So that's why it is said that whatever we do, it should be according to the dharma. And what is the dharma of dharma is very simple, right? Samsiddhir haritoshanam, right? That is the dharma. If you do activities which will please the Supreme Lord, that is dharma. If you do anything which will not please the Supreme Lord, that is not dharma. That is then shram evahi kevalam, as defined in Srimad Bhagavatam. Correct? So, and and how do you learn dharma? So there are mentions of scriptures, Shruti and Smriti, right? According to the Shastras. The dharma is defined in the Shastra, and you follow the Shastra. Now, as we have seen, the Shastras are very, very wide, right? We don't have time to study them, understand them, and forget about them following them, right? That's why it is given to us in a very concise way, right? Chaitanya, as I described earlier also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the dharma in very simple 6 words, right? Jivera, right? We saw that definition, correct? We are Nitya Das of Krishna, correct? That dharma has to be followed. And if you follow that dharma, then everything is satisfied. This shloka mentions that everything is satisfied, including one's mind, soul, and even body. Correct? If we don't follow the dharma, it leads to chaos. And if we follow the dharma, everything is satisfied, including mind, soul, and body. So following the dharma and religious principles leads to peace and prosperity, and that's what Narad Muni is confirming here. And as I mentioned, giving simple examples, right? The same activity, if it is not done according to the dharma, is a problem. But the same activity, if you do according to the dharma, it leads to good results and happiness. Correct? So and that is what Narad Muni is also saying, right? Oh, King Yudhishthira, this principle of religion is to be understood as evidence, right? How it is to be understood? It is to be understood based on the Shruti and Smriti, and it has to be understood as evidence. Are considered, and Prabhupada is saying they are considered as evidence of religious principles, right? Smriti and Shruti. Smriti are what? Smriti are the Vedas, right? Shruti are all the Puranas, Itihasas like Ramayana, Mahabharata, right? So based on whatever is given in those scriptures, they define the religious principle. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concise that for us in a very, very simple terms, right? So, and then there are shlokas. Now, there is a mention of Manusmriti, and now people are so against Manusmriti, right? They feel that this scripture downgrades. No, it is not. The interpretation is a problem, not the scripture itself. People have interpreted it absolutely wrong. They have not. They see what happens is whenever anything is mentioned in scriptures or in any book or something, there is always a context to it, right? Right? There is always a context. It is always said in some context. Now, what people do is they remove the context and only state the statement. Now, what that leads to is, without the context, you cannot understand why that statement is written. Correct? And that is the problem today, that people quote scriptures, but they don't understand the context of that scripture, right? And because of that, they want to reject the scriptures, which is absolutely wrong. See, please understand, people say Varnashrama system is bad. It causes division and everything. But my question to them would be, how come India was, or Bharat Varsha was so prosperous when this system was followed? If there was exploitation, if there was cruelty, how can India or Bharat Varsha be so prosperous, right? It was so prosperous when this system was followed. This system is perfect, and that's why we prospered so much. Now, when the Britishers came in, they wanted to explicitly destroy the system, right? There is a person called Lord Macaulay, right? He stated that in the British Parliament, that I have traveled the breadth of this country and I don't see any beggars or any low-class people. They are such high-class cultured people. And the only way to destroy this is to destroy that background or the backbone of that culture, and that is the scriptures and this. And hence they started this propaganda that they are, it leads to division and so on and so forth. They did so many things. They wanted to make sure that the Indians will reject this culture and will treat everything foreign as good. And that was what the strategy of the Britishers were, and they succeeded in actually destroying this system, right? So otherwise, this is coming from the Supreme Lord. It cannot be imperfect. It is absolutely perfect, right? And now, since we read the scriptures and we get that understanding, at least we can. I mean, it's very difficult now to I mean, there are so many people and so much opposition to this, but this is a very perfect system, and um, it should be implemented. See, Prabhupada had this one agenda which he felt was incomplete, was to establish Varnashrama Dharma again, right? He it is his desire that this should be established in the society so that we'll have Brahmanas in the society, right? Today there are no Brahmanas in the society, and that's why the society is headless. And the it's kind of an emergency. We'll see how the next shloka or further shlokas talk about it. So let's move ahead. Shloka 8 to 12. So this is a big, I'll read the translation. There are general principles to be followed by all human beings: truthfulness, mercy, austerity, observing fast on certain days of the month, bathing twice a day, tolerance, discrimination between right and wrong, control of the mind, control of the senses, non-violence, celibacy, charity, reading of scriptures, simplicity, satisfaction, rendering service to saintly persons, gradually taking leave of unnecessary engagements, observing the futility of the unnecessary activities of the human society, remaining silent and grave and avoiding unnecessary talk, considering whether one is the body or the soul, distributing food equally to all living entities, both men and animals, seeing every soul, especially in the human form, as a part of the Supreme Lord, hearing about the activities and instructions given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the shelter of the saintly persons, chanting about these activities and instructions, always remembering these activities and instructions, trying to render service, performing worship, offering obeisances, becoming a servant, becoming a friend, and surrendering one's whole self. O King Yudhishthira, these 30 qualifications must be acquired in the human form of life. Simply by acquiring these qualifications, one can satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Narad Muni here is describing 30 qualities for someone to be called human being. Okay. Then only one can satisfy the Supreme Personality of simply by
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'm unable to hear you.
Sorry, I got disconnected. Sorry, Mataji. Okay. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah. So Prabhupada here describes 30 qualities. I mean, not Prabhupada, sorry, Narad Muni describes 30 qualities which must be acquired in the human form of life. Now, these qualities are not easy to acquire, right? Truthfulness, mercy, austerity, these are not easy to acquire. Now, how do we acquire them? Prabhupada in the purport says that if you become a devotee of the Lord, then you automatically will acquire these qualities. And that's a solution which Prabhupada gives. See, I mean, artificially we cannot acquire these qualities. You cannot just become truthful, right? These qualities can be acquired only when you become a devotee of the Lord. And by performing this sadhana bhakti, you will automatically acquire these qualities. And that's what see, it is mentioned here. Everyone should become a devotee of the Lord, because by becoming a devotee of the Lord, one automatically acquires the other qualities, right? So we easily acquire the qualities which are mentioned here if you become a devotee of the Lord. Now, some of the important things here is, if you look into the translations here, right? Now, Prabhupada, here there is a mention of Gramya Iha Uparaha, not taking part in so-called philanthropic activities. He translates it like this: not taking part in so-called philanthropic activities. Actually, Gramya Inya Uparaha means not discussing mundane subjects, or not talking about mundane subjects, or not taking part in mundane activities. But here, Prabhupada has translated it is to like this: not taking part in so-called philanthropic activities. Now, the question is, ISKCON also distributes prasad, right? We also distribute prasad, right? We do food for life. We also do some philanthropic activities. Is it not? Like, I mean, I should not be, I mean, for example, there is a hospital in Bombay, right? So ISKCON also does philanthropic activities. But then why is Prabhupada saying not taking part in so-called philanthropic